And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza. And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to the intersection of business and politics right here on Robert Cardoza Live, where I do an honest, unbiased analysis of the issues confronting you today that affect the decisions that you're going to make for both your personal and your business life. I come to you every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time on Spreaker Radio, MyCast Live Radio, and countless terrestrial stations worldwide. I also broadcast on Roar, 1776 Radio, and Live 365 Radio every Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com for archives of all my radio and television shows. You can also access my show live right from my website each day simply by clicking on that little icon labeled Listen Live. Email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com. That's where I get all the emails I deal with here on the show. And you can call into my show if you want to just comment or engage me in conversation about anything. Call directly into the studio at 909-545-6516. Again, that number, 909-545-6516. Now, on today's show, we're going to discuss what's in the news, new legislation the IRS loses, and I'm going to answer your emails just like I always do. Well, today, my expert contributor is David Garrett with his series, Garrett on the Law, and my special guest, Dr. Stephen Tidwell, and he's going to be talking about tomorrow's dentistry today. So, in the meantime, stand by for news. And before that, I want you to know that at 4:02 p.m. Pacific Time, it is currently 95 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Now, let's get to that news that I promised you. Well, right off the bat, in the headlines today, the wing part could help solve what happened to MH370. A barnacle-encrusted wing part that washed up on a remote Indian Ocean island could help solve one of aviation's greatest mysteries as investigators work to connect it to the Malaysia Airlines flight that vanished more than a year ago. The surprise discovery of the debris on a rocky beach stirred hopes and emotion among families of the missing. After a year and a half of grieving and frustration at a lack of answers, despite a wide, deep, and expansive multinational search effort in the southern Indian Ocean, the China Sea, and the Gulf of Thailand. Even if it is confirmed to be a long-awaited first clue to the disappearance of Flight 370, there's no guarantee that investigators can still find the plane's recorders or other remains a year and a half later. The coming hours and days will be crucial. French authorities moved the plane piece from the beach to the local airport in Réunion and will send it next to the city of Toulouse, where it may arrive Saturday morning, according to the Paris prosecutor's office. Toulouse is the hub of Europe's aerospace industry with the headquarters of Airbus and a network of hangars and plane facilities. The plane part will be analyzed in special defense facilities used for airplane testing and analysis, according to the Defense Ministry. Well, let's hope that we find out something, if for no other reason than for those people to get some closure with the loss of their loved ones. Also, in just yesterday, the Afghan Taliban confirmed Mullah Omar's death, and they choose a successor. The Taliban confirmed the death of longtime leader Mullah Muhammad Omar and appointed his successor yesterday, as a new round of peace talks was indefinitely postponed amid concerns over how committed the new leadership is to ending the militant group's 14-year insurgency. The Afghan Taliban Shura, or Supreme Council, chose Mullah Omar's deputy, Mullah Akhtar Mansour, as its new leader. Two Taliban figures told the Associated Press, saying the 7-member council had met in the Pakistani city of Quetta. Mansour is considered close to Pakistani authorities who hosted peace talks earlier this month, and his election could mean, or I should say, could widen an internal split between fighters who favor negotiations with the Afghan government and those who want to continue an insurgency that has gained speed following the end of the international combat mission last year. Well, Clinton releases tax health records on a busy Friday. This came in 1 hour ago. Hillary Rodham Clinton is in excellent physical condition and fit to serve as president, her physician declared today. Just one in a flood of disclosures about the Democratic presidential candidate pushed out by her campaign on a busy summer day. Within a 3-hour period, the State Department made public more than 2,200 pages of emails sent from Clinton's personal account. Her campaign released the information about her health, and she unveiled 8 years of tax returns. Meanwhile, Clinton herself was campaigning at the annual meeting of the National Urban League and calling for an end of the nation's trade embargo of Cuba during a speech in Miami. Today was also the deadline for super PACs to file their first financial reports of the 2016 campaign with federal regulators, revealing the names of a slew of billionaires and millionaires paying for the early days of the election fight. Campaign aides cast the records dump as part of the effort to compete with Republican presidential candidate Jeb Bush on the issue of transparency. Clinton is the first 2016 presidential candidate to release her health records, and aides said she planned to release more details about her finances than Bush, the former Florida governor who has already made public 33 years of his tax returns. Well, the Clintons paid nearly $44 million in federal taxes and made almost $15 million in charitable contributions from the tens of millions the couple earned between 2007 and 2014, according to her campaign. Last year, they paid an overall federal tax rate of 35.7%. The couple earlier reported having earned more than $30 million from speeches and book royalties since mid-2013. Boy, nice life if you can get it, huh? It kind of sounds that way to me anyway. Well, just in today, a suspected Jewish extremists burned Palestinian child to death. Suspected Jewish assailants set fire to a West Bank home today and burned a sleeping Palestinian toddler to death in an attack that drew Palestinian rage and widespread Israeli condemnation. The attack, which threatens to set off another violent escalation, shines a light on the growing lawlessness of extremist Jewish settlers that Israel is either unable or unwilling to contain. The extremists have for years staged attacks against Palestinian property, as well as mosques, churches, dovish Israeli groups, and even Israeli military bases. The attacks, known as price tags, because they exact a price for Israeli steps seen as favorable to the Palestinians, have stirred fear in Palestinians and frustration among critics who say Israel has not done enough to quell the assaults. This is a direct consequence of decades of impunity given by the Israeli government to settler terrorism, said Palestinian official Saeb Erekat. This is the consequences of a culture of hate funded and incentivized by the Israeli government and the impunity granted by the international community. Boy, just hurts. That's all. Just hurts. That's all I can say. Well, don't go away, because when we come back from this short commercial break, we're going to talk about the University of Cincinnati shooting, and it puts a spotlight on the campus police. I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. So please, don't go away. We'll be right back. If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, & Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, & Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, & Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, & Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. When we left, we were talking about the news, and I told you we'd talk some more about it as soon as we came back, and here we go. The University of Cincinnati shooting put a spotlight on campus police. When an Ohio prosecutor charged a campus police officer with murder and the death of a driver during a traffic stop, he offered a harsh judgment on University of Cincinnati police, saying the school should not be in the business of law enforcement at all. That statement and the circumstances of the shooting near campus have raised questions about college police departments, which often possesses powers that extend beyond their school's boundaries. More universities are adding officers and arming them, insisting they can better police and protect students than municipal officers. The July 19th shooting happened about a half mile from campus when a University of Cincinnati officer, Ray Tenzing, pulled over Samuel Dubois, or I guess it's Dubose, for a missing front license plate. Dubose, who was not a student, refused to get out of the car, and Tenzing shot the driver once in the head. Tenzing was fired and has pleaded not guilty. His lawyer has said he feared for his life. Word of the shooting traveled swiftly through college campuses like the University of Rhode Island, which armed its campus police this year after a 2013 incident in which students in a lecture hall thought they heard someone claiming to have a gun. The faculty union fought the move, and its executive director said a shooting like the one in Ohio is what they feared. I could easily, or very easily, imagine someone getting hurt over someone mouthing off, and boom, Frank Annunziato said, "It doesn't surprise me, and it does sicken me. People here are talking about it, and I can tell you that. That's for sure." The move toward campus police began in the 1960s when student protests sometimes led to violent clashes with city police, according to Bill Taylor, president of the International Association of Campus Law Enforcement Administrators. He said campus communities have different needs and expectations, and campus police forces can tailor their work to the clientele that they serve. Well, that just remains to be seen, I think, don't you? We'll see what happens in the future. Well, there's a news guide. Super PAC is backing Cruz, and he gets a $10 million donation. Just money, chump funds, right? Here's the deal. Nearly all of the contenders for president are encouraging their deep-pocketed donors to give not just to their campaigns, but to groups known as super PACs as well. Unlike campaigns, these outside groups aren't limited in how much money they can accept from individual donors. While they can't directly take orders from the candidates that they're spending money to help elect, they still account for about $2 of every $3 raised so far in the 2016 race for president. Many super PACs must file their first fundraising reports with federal regulators by midnight tonight. The super PAC filings will detail how money was raised and spent from January to the end of June and include the names of the donors. 2 weeks ago, many of the candidates filed their first campaign fundraising reports. Together, the reports from the super PACs and the candidates will produce the first major accounting of who was paying for the campaign for president. Wow. Think about that. I could take that farther, but you know what? We'd just be beating that horse to death, I think. Well, triathletes shrug off water warnings, and they're going to swim in Rio. Here's the thing. Came in an hour ago. Triathletes swam in waters off Copacabana Beach today ahead of weekend Olympic test events, despite published warnings that water in the area was unfit for swimming. The website of the Rio de Janeiro Environmental Agency said the water, which has been declared unfit 10 previous times this year, was unsafe based on the results of a Monday water test. Officials publicly insisted athletes were safe and stuck to the competition schedule. Later in the day, Rodrigo Garcia, the sports director for the local Olympic Organizing Committee, said that new unpublished water test results show that the area is suitable for the competition, but provided no details on the results. The Rio Environmental Agency didn't respond to requests for comment. The situation prompted new concern about Rio polluted waters. On Thursday, the Associated Press released the results of a 5-month investigation that showed that Olympic venues are rife with disease-causing viruses and bacteria. Boy, you know what? This is just something bad waiting to happen. That's all I can say. Well, Baltimore killings soar to a level unseen in 43 years. Baltimore reached a grim milestone today, 3 months after riots erupted in response to the death of Freddie Gray in police custody. With 45 homicides in July, the city has seen more bloodshed in a single month than it has in 43 years. Police reported 3 deaths, 2 men shot yesterday and 1 today. The men died at local hospitals. With their deaths, this year's homicides reached 189, far outpacing the 119 killings by July's end in 2014. Non-fatal shootings have soared to 366 compared to 200 by the same date last year. July's total was the worst since the city recorded 45 killings in August of 1972, according to the Baltimore Sun. The seemingly Sisyphean task of containing the city's violence prompted Mayor Stephanie Rawlings Blake to hire her police commissioner, Anthony Bratz, on July the 8th. Too many continue to die on our streets, Rawlings Blake said then. Families are tired of dealing with this pain, and so am I. Recent events have placed an intense focus on our police leadership, distracting many from what needs to be our main focus, the fight against crime. Now, do not go away. When we get back from this commercial break, we're going to talk about the IRS loses. And first up on my list here is the right to a speedy trial was violated. Yeah, they keep doing this kind of stuff. But you know what? Doesn't it just make you sick? It does me. We'll be right back with the IRS loses right after these brief messages. Don't go away. Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his Loses Show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make the interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay a great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Oh yeah, here we are, my favorite part of the show, the IRS Loses. And basically, you know what, just sends that chills up and down my spine. Makes me real happy, though, and I think it will you, too. So let's get right to it. First case up, the IRS loses. Right to a speedy trial was violated. Let me tell you about it. Paul Mendoza was convicted of filing false tax returns, but protested that his trial hadn't begun until 10 years after he was indicted. So his constitutional right to a speedy trial had been violated. Now, the IRS's position says that before being indicted, Mendoza had left the country for 8 years, so it couldn't arrest or try him. So he went to the Court of Appeals, and this is what the judges finally said. The IRS had contact information from Mendoza, but had done almost nothing to inform him of the charges against him. He didn't know of the indictment, so he hadn't fled and had even returned a call to the IRS that was made to his wife. The IRS's lack of effort to inform him of the case was prejudicial, so his conviction is overturned. You got to love this stuff, right? Got to just absolutely love this stuff. How about this? The IRS loses. Getting expert advice saves penalties from abusive investment. 3 couples invested in a partnership that promised both business profits and tax benefits. The IRS later held it to be an abusive tax shelter and imposed negligence penalties on the couples. They replied that they had checked the bona fides of the business before investing. The IRS told the court that other investors in the same shelter had been held liable for the penalties. So they went to court. This is what the judge actually said. These couples showed that they had paid reputable professional advisors a reasonable amount relative to the size of their investments to investigate the partnership for them before they actually invested. So they had not been negligent in this particular case. How about this? The IRS loses. A retiree does not owe tax on insurance policy owned by the firm. Let me tell you about it. Joseph Dyer was a partner in a law firm that in 1978 bought an insurance policy on his life, made payable to his wife. And his wife her name was Mary, and to pay her the value of his interest in the firm if he died. Now, Joseph retired in 2001, and the firm let the policy lapse. The lapse resulted in $18,000 of taxable income to the policy owner that the insurance company reported to Mary on a Form 1099, and that the IRS thus taxed to the Dyers. They protested, went to court. This is what the judge said. The law firm had been the policy owner, paying the premiums and arranging the policy for its own benefit. There was no evidence that Mary had ever received an $18,000 payment or benefit. So the Dyers escaped tax. That's what you would expect to have happen. That's what I'd expect to have happen. Now, let's talk about inside the IRS. Okay, now these are not. This is not a court case. These are precedents that the IRS actually set that you can actually use in your own defense if you know how you're doing these things. First off, let's talk about there's a refund opportunity out there for you if you qualify for this. There's an amended return opportunity to get a refund of tax paid on awards for damages for personal non-physical injuries. Now, a recent decision in the United States Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit held that damages received for emotional distress and injury to personal reputation are not subject to income tax, and that Section 104A-2 of the tax code, which makes these damages taxable, is unconstitutional. Money damages received for loss of earnings or punitive damages are still taxable, but you've got to be careful here. The IRS is expected to appeal this case, but amended tax returns should be filed to protect your right to receive a refund. So keep that in mind. And let's talk about private collection agencies. You know, now that the IRS has outsourced a portion of its collection work, a private debt collector may contact you. Now, they have some limits here. These collection agencies can only negotiate installment payment agreements of up to $25,000 and 36 months out. Now, the good news, a private collection agency cannot issue a summons for financial information and cannot make third-party contacts with your bank or employer or neighbors, for example. Now, here's the strategy. You may have an easier time getting an agreeable installment plan with a private collection agency since they're paid on commission on anything they collect, whereas the typical IRS collection employee has no financial incentive to let you pay off your liability over time. But take note, if you can't or won't accept an agreement with the private agency, your case gets sent back to the IRS, which will then pursue collection in the normal manner. I can guarantee you do not want that to happen. Now, do not go away, because waiting in the wings with what sounds like the noisiest microphone I ever heard is our own Dr. Stephen Tidwell. He's going to be talking about tomorrow's Dentistry Today. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Do not go away. Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the Street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:33 p.m. Pacific Time. It is currently 95 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, that's down from 100 degrees on its way to 63. It's the 63 that I'm waiting for. I can't hardly wait. But you know what? Talking about waiting, he's waiting in the wings. He's going to talk about tomorrow's dentistry today. I'm talking about our own Dr. Stephen Tidwell with what I said. Tomorrow's dentistry today. Let's welcome him aboard. Hey, Stephen, welcome back.
Hold him back, Bob. Hold him back. Thank you.
You know what? We've got, you're not going to believe this. I'm looking out the window, and in that crowd, we've got these speakers out there. In that crowd, there are all these young girls. Looks like they're in their early to mid-20s. They're in these short dresses and tight sweaters, all screaming, Stephen, Stephen. I can't believe this.
It's all my daughter's friends. Yeah, she did it as a school project. She's an event planner now. She's going like, okay, everybody has to be outside the window there at Bob, so we can So you can make all the noise so you can welcome my dad in there, okay?
Well, it made my day. I was going to lie to you and say that it was for me, but it wasn't.
Well, they had the signs all say, we love Bob and Steve too.
That's how they got past the gate. And
That's
then
it. I figured they aren't stupid. They know how this all works.
So, my friend, where are you calling in from today?
Oh, I'm sitting in my beautiful office here in sunny Rancho Cucamonga, California.
Oh.
And it's a good landline, And after I redialed to get a better connection, anyway.
Well, you know what? You're smarter than the average bear because I laid that hint out there, and I wasn't sure you were going to get it or not. But you texted me back and said, "Yeah, I got the hint."
It took me a minute, but I did catch on. Yeah. So. Yeah, I was going, boy, this is really crackly. Yeah, this does sound a lot better. I sound like we're next to each other right now.
Yeah, you're really sounding good. Say, listen, hey, what's on the agenda for today?
Well, I was going to talk a little bit about, the bugaboo of dentistry, which is, I hear it all the time. My mouth doesn't hurt. Why do I need to go to the dentist? And so that's a little like, saying, they didn't call me. Why do I need to file a tax return? It's pretty much in the same ballpark. There's so many things that you can take care of in the early stages that are cheap. They're well covered by dental insurance. They aren't expensive if they aren't covered. Insurance companies recognize them as so important that they pay either 100 or 80% of the fee. They're so excited to have you take care of it, and that just tells you that it's something that you need to deal with when it's easy and it's inexpensive, as opposed to waiting until you need to do something big. For instance, just take the average cavity, and patient goes, well, I don't feel anything there, doc. And I go, well, by the time you feel something, we're talking root canal. At this point, I can just do a little filling. It'll be quick. It'll be slick. You won't even know it even happened. I finished up one yesterday, and I looked at the patient, and I said, I defy you to find where I worked on your tooth. I said, you cannot see that. It is, I don't care. I can't see it, and I just did it. It's, the materials now are so good that we can put back tooth-colored fillings that it's just, they disappear. It's incredible.
What? You are much, much better than the average blind dentist, I think.
Yeah. I have to say that I would feel like I've got a leg up on the average blind dentist, yes.
I was just kidding.
I know. You threw me on that one, Bob. I was going like, whoa. Okay.
I actually love you to death because
I know you do.
And which is why I could pick on you a little bit.
I know, and especially since you're a few months away till your next appointment. You figure that then you can butter me up so I won't do anything to you, right?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Well, maybe.
So anyway,
hey Steve, maybe
so
lunch,
you do
Steve.
cavity, and then you don't have to do a root canal. You don't have to lose a tooth. We're so. The thing that I see so much of as our biggest problem is missing teeth. There's, I just saw a guy today, super guy, and thankfully he's got some good insurance, but, even with good dental insurance, he's still going to be out a few $1,000s to fix things up because he's lost molars on each side and top and bottom of, all four, we call them quadrants, all four corners of his mouth, he's lost molars. And so you're going, well, what's the problem? Is he healthy? Is he eating? Yeah, he's eating fine. But the thing is, I'm looking at this guy, and he's in his mid-30s, and his front teeth are short and getting shorter because he doesn't have any back teeth. He doesn't have all of his back teeth to do his chewing, and he's just wearing them down because he has to rabbit his food. And so as a result, these teeth keep getting shorter and shorter. And I'm going, if you wait until you're, in your 50s or 60s to deal with this, you're not going to have anything left. They're all going to be gone. You're going to wear them right down to the nubbins. You got to do something here where we can get you back into some teeth in the back. And we talked about what we were going to have to do, and it is extensive. In this case, it isn't terribly expensive. It'll take him some time, and his insurance will help. But it's a lot more work than it would have been to be able to save those teeth at an early age.
Yeah, better to save them than to lose them.
Background, he may have
better to save them than to lose them and have to replace them, right?
What's that?
I say it's better to save them than to have to lose them and then replace them.
Oh, yeah. God makes really good stuff. I'm not in that league, and those teeth are just amazing things as the whole human body is, and if you can keep it there, it's so much easier than replacing, and so much less expensive. So, yeah. And doing a little bit sure beats the heck out of doing a lot. But, and cavities are only one part of it. You can talk about, and missing teeth doesn't hurt, but you got a problem. Gum disease is the biggest one. That's the silent problem we have, is that's a good way to lose a bunch of teeth. I had a lady that's retiring, so she's in her 60s. Smart lady, does, in accounting and stuff. She's just a very, very bright woman, but just scared to death of having anybody work on her mouth. And she brushed, and she never had much in the way of cavities. I don't think I remember seeing much any cavities. And she didn't have any pain until she comes in and goes, "Doc, I'm trying to chew, and my teeth are all waving. They're wiggling, and they hurt when I try and eat something firm." And I'm going, "Oh my gosh!" And I look in there, and they're just almost waving with her breath, because the bone because of gum disease, the infection has dissolved the bone around all of the roots of her teeth, and she lost like 20 teeth in one.
Well, let me interrupt you for a second,
surgeon.
Steve. Let me interrupt you for just a second. What is this sort of like a chicken and the egg scenario? What comes first, the gum disease or the teeth disease?
Bob, that is a really good question, and I don't even know if you realize where that goes. What happens is that I always tell people, do you know why you have gum disease? And they go, "Oh, I'm not brushing or flossing." No. The reason you have gum disease is because you're predisposed. It's genetic. We've even located the gene. It's like interleukin-1 that is the gene that controls whether or not you're going to have a real problem with gum disease. And if you go to a gum specialist, a periodontist, most periodontists will actually do a DNA test before they even get started because they want to know whether or not you're one of the susceptible ones. It matters in how they treat you. Now, decay is, and what I say is, this is the interesting part about it, is the bacteria that cause tooth decay, and it's a disease, so it's a bacterial disease, and the bacteria that cause gum disease don't coexist well. There's something different in the environment of your mouth that will either cause one to flourish or the other. I can tell you that after doing this for 35 years, the number of times you find both together is very, very rare. Even people that will never even be scared by a toothbrush going near them will either have gum disease or cavities. Rarely do they have both. And so that's why I said, you may not know where you went with that, but that is a super point about the whole thing.
Wow. Well, I didn't know where I was going.
It was in your mouth.
I didn't know where I was going. It was a legitimate question. I had no idea.
Nice setup on that. But and gum disease isn't just in your mouth. Having active gum disease, it's an infection. If you have diabetes, you can't control your sugar if you have an active infection. And gum disease is an active infection. And if you've got diabetes, you're going to have a higher predisposition towards having gum disease. It's a catch-22 there. The same bacteria that are causing gum disease seem to be implicated in heart disease. You're going to have a higher risk for having a heart attack. It's already been proven to show low birth weight and premature births in pregnant women. Wow. So it's an infection, and to take it as being, I just have some bleeding gums, or I haven't been to the dentist to get my cleaning in 12 years, or ever. You're playing with fire in a little bit. It doesn't hurt. No, it doesn't hurt until you've got a real problem on your hands.
And when it hurts, it's too late, right?
It really makes it tough. with that lady that I told you about, she lost 20 teeth, and the problem is she lost so much bone that we really couldn't even do permanent replacement. She's ending up having to wear some removable things that she just finds to be miserable, and since the infection is gone now, there's a better chance that she's going to be able to do a little more in the future. But it really makes it very, very tough.
Well, if you only have 32 and you lose 20, it makes it pretty tough to eat, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, and it really does. It makes a huge problem on trying to have adequate numbers of teeth to do anything. And and that's not even the most. That we can talk about that as some of these things are potentially problems. But the biggest one that we worry about, we check every time somebody comes in for a cleaning. We do an oral cancer exam, because oral cancer is just a nasty thing. It's the mortality rate on oral cancers. If you have a malignant oral cancer, mortality rate is like 70%.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it's just, well, the problem is look where it is. It's right there in your mouth. So it's right there, and they start taking pieces out of you there, and I mean, there's a lot of good stuff that's real close there.
Now, why do we not hear more about oral cancer? Because you don't really hear about it.
Well, the numbers aren't real huge, and then the nice thing about it is that as dentists, we have made it our passion to. We had a seminar last night about oral pathology, and I usually attend one at least once a year. And we talk about it, and it's not difficult to find the nasty ones, and we look closely, and usually, I've saved lives by early detection on
that's another reason to go to your dentist on a regular basis, if for no other reason than to have him be able to observe and identify if you've got a precancerous or an existing cancerous problem, right?
Oh, yeah. And there's no way you can really tell on a suspicious thing without a biopsy. And there's a lot of little non-biopsy things that are out there about doing this and that. But, in all fairness, I mean, I've been doing this for 35 years, and I don't think I've found a dozen different cases that I felt like that turned into something worthwhile. We probably found 50 or 100 over the years of things that we've sent to my oral surgeon, my specialist, to have them take a look at, and probably half of those got biopsied. And, and when you're talking about cancer, the patient's going like, yeah, go ahead and take a little piece of that. I'd kind of like to know for sure, and you send it off, and it's not very often that it comes back nasty. But our numbers are just not that high for the total numbers of people that die from, or even that have oral cancer, thankfully.
Well, Steve, hold that thought for a bit, because
I will.
We've got to go on a commercial break, and we'll be right back, and let's continue that conversation. We're talking to our own Dr. Stephen Tidwell with Tomorrow's Dentistry Today, and this is just really, really interesting. You want to be here when he continues this conversation. Don't go away. It's for your own good, and, well, you know what? It's for everybody's good, not just your own. So we'll be right back after these brief messages. Do not go away. Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make the interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to our own Dr. Stephen Tidwell with Tomorrow's Dentistry Today. Steve, you've got the microphone.
Hey, Bob. So, we were talking about all the fun things that you get out of going to your dentist that aren't just getting your teeth cleaned, how important it is to your overall health. And I know it's been something that has been my passion here for the last, way too many years, that I'm realizing that, it's not my mouth, it's not my body. And, that I'm talking to my patients. It's your situation. I feel like I need to help you to understand what's going on with you. And sometimes that doesn't even stop with dentistry. I usually encourage patients and any of my friends and that have any kind of health issue, you have to be your own advocate these days. You have to know more about whatever's going on with your particular health issues than someone that just walks in and goes, "Take care of me, doc," because they don't anymore. It's just not fair. It's just not the way it works anymore in even as a general rule in our medical profession. They're busy. The insurance companies are telling them they got to see 50 or 100 patients a day. They don't have time.
Yeah.
And they give you a pill and let you go unless you really know what's going on. And I've seen way too many examples of that. And I encourage my patients to understand I will give you all the information you can handle and then some more, because dentistry just is, the health behind this isn't that complex in a lot of ways. We talk about gum disease. We talk about cavities. Here's the problem. Here's how you can fix it. What do you want to do? And, it's, like I said, it's not my mouth. If you want to brush them and floss them, I'm not going to go home and chase you down and make you do it. You got to do it. And most people kind of will respond to that sometimes better than, will you please, you need to do a better job or this, that. No, I figured out a long time ago, I've got to motivate people, and the only way I can do it is they have to own the problem themselves. That's why I was saying, with the genetic predisposition of gum disease, when you know that you're predisposed to it, the other half of the question is, do you think it's going to go away? You're going to get over this? No, you're not. You're always going to be predisposed to this. And so as a result, this becomes a lifetime battle. It isn't a tough one. You just got to brush your teeth. It's not that tough. But if you don't,
after all,
you're going to have a
they
problem.
are your teeth, right?
They are your teeth. Exactly right. But, so we've kind of, over the years, kind of gotten, I guess, I remember back in dental school, I used to think some of the instructors were a little crusty, and now I think I know why. They just kind of get to the point where you look at the patient and you go like, I'd love to hold your hand, but that isn't going to help you. You need to do this yourself. And the only way I can get you to do that is you to understand that it's your issues to deal with.
So basically, Steve, you go to the dentist, and the dentist certainly is capable of identifying a lot of things based on what he or she sees in your mouth. But the truth is that if you're having a problem, you've got to talk to the dentist and let him know it's your mouth, and only you know if you don't feel right, or if something's hurting right, or something tingles wrong, or what's going on. You got to give some clues to the dentist so he knows what to look for, right?
Well, obviously if you're having sensitivity or pain, and we see that, and that's not a problem. But, so many times, things are missed. People go like, gee, I've got a little bleeding spot on my gums, or I brush my teeth a little bit, or I floss and there's blood. Well, is that a problem? Well, yes and no. It's a sign. You've got some active gum disease. Now, just because you have a little bleeding spot at one point and you do a little better job of brushing that area, it goes away. Yeah, it's pretty well handled. But, you have to stay up on just basic maintenance. I mean, you get your oil changed on a regular basis. I mean, if you want your car to run, that's what you do. If you want to be healthy, you go for a physical every once in a while and, on a regular basis, and you go get your teeth cleaned on a regular basis. It's just part of the deal. And unfortunately for the ladies, of course, they even have another doctor they have to go see, or two.
Sure.
And so it all goes in the same thing. You just preventative maintenance. We're just another part of that.
Well, you know what? It seems to me, I've heard you make the comment about, they're your teeth, and if you want to keep them, you need to do this.
Yeah. Or even, we have little catchphrases too. You don't have to floss them all, just the ones you want to keep. So, there's things like that, and we say that with a smile, but, it really, and I
but
still,
it's the truth.
More often than not, I will sit down the first thing with a new patient, and I'll go over with how do you brush your teeth in an effective manner, and they all look at me and go, nobody's ever done that. Yeah. And I go, how many times have you been there? Hundreds, but nobody's ever taught me how to brush my teeth right. And I go like, this is so important, and it's the basis for the whole thing. And if, I can tell you that you need to brush more, but if you don't even know it right, then what's the point?
Yeah.
So, and then, we've done so many things. I kind of got off of our tagline here of tomorrow's dentistry today. And speaking of which, I should probably do a little bit of a promo. After all, we are at tidwelldentistry.net, which gives you my all of my contact information. That was tidwelldentistry.net. Yes, we're on Facebook, and we're available there on the net. We have phone numbers too. All that's in there, but we're at 909-881-3336 and also 909-944-7308 in my San Bernardino and Rancho Cucamonga practices, respectively. But, in the modern world, we talk about things like I've got my new CEREC machine where I can make a crown in an hour. We have dental x-rays, now that are done digitally. Well, why is that important? Well, we get a better picture because of the sensor, but the patient benefits how? Well, we take fewer x-rays, and the sensor is so much more sensitive. We cut our radiation by 75%.
Wow.
That's how much less radiation our patients will get. What we got was minuscule to begin with, but now it's even less. So just the technological developments are good for everybody.
And you know what? Even though we call this segment Tomorrow's Dentistry Today, if you're having a problem, you shouldn't wait until tomorrow to take care of what should be taken care of today.
Well, yeah, especially if you don't want to, help my kids get through college or something like that. You want to save money and save time, it's much easier to do a little bit of something that is to wait for something really big to have to be done.
Yeah.
So yeah, it makes so much more sense. And then people will say things like, well, I don't have dental insurance. Well, you know what? Doing the preventative stuff, that's the reason insurance companies pay for it so well. It's cheap. It's not that expensive. You can get one of my coupons. They're, come by the office, we'll hand them out. You can go on the website and you can see there's the coupon for $49. You get a full mouth examination and the full mouth x-rays, an oral cancer check, as well as a regular cleaning. If you've got a big gum disease problem, we're going to do a little more than a regular cleaning. But if you just went in 6 months ago or a year ago and we say, well, yeah, we can take 45 minutes and do our normal cleaning, which is a very thorough cleaning. I hate things like deep cleaning. I hear that word all the time, and I go like, we do a thorough cleaning every time. It's you don't have to charge extra for it. Now, we do have periodontal cleanings as special things that will take more time, but we charge for our time. If we can do it in 45 minutes, we only charge that. If it's going to take us 4 hours, we're going to charge for it.
Of course.
It's normal. But, it doesn't have to be that expensive. There's, if you do need extensive work and you don't have insurance, there's outsourced financial plans that you can use other people's money for no interest. I mean, how do you find a deal like that for 12 months? As long as you pay on time, they don't even charge you interest.
You know what? And how important is the issue? And I think it's of ultimate importance to sit out there. And certainly the older you get, I think, the more cognizant of this you are. You really don't want to have a problem with your teeth, and you don't want to have a problem eating. You don't want and you don't want pain either.
No. And that's the thing. A lot of these come home to roost to us as we get older. But, you think you're indestructible when you're in your 20s and 30s. But, as we get older, all these things do come around and you go like, you wish you would have taken care of it. And, it's easy to do.
It's interesting. My dad didn't have a cavity, had all of his teeth, including his wisdom teeth. And I'd go and visit him once in a while, and he'd be flossing his teeth, right? Mm-hmm. And I'd say, Dad, what in the hell are you doing? He says, I'm flossing my teeth. I said, Dad, that's yarn you're using. He would use yarn in his teeth. He says, I want to make sure I got it all.
Yeah. And I've seen that a few times where I have patients that they call it getting long in the tooth. You got a little more space in there, and I could see a few of them where a light manila rope would probably be useful.
Yeah. My mind is someplace else, but I can't talk.
There you go.
So anyway, you know what you haven't talked about? And we've got 2 minutes before we have to move along. You haven't talked about that new magnificent machine you've got in your lobby in Rancho.
Funny that you should mention that, because last weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, in 2 different locations, Long Beach and then Phoenix, I actually spent 3 more days learning more fun things to do with this. Including making the replacement part for an implant, so that when you get your implant put in, I can put a crown on it, and I can do that right here in the office. It's so cool because it's CAD/CAM technology. That's computer-assisted design, computer-assisted milling, and what we do is we don't have to take an impression. You don't have goop in your mouth. You don't get a temporary crown. We scan your tooth, and it's milled right here in the office. We then bake it to give it the full strength and the right color, and then cement it the same day. So you don't wander around with a temporary crown. You don't have to make 2 appointments. It's bad enough to interrupt your day to come out to the dentist. You don't need to do it twice. Come back again 3 weeks later, get numbed up, do all this stuff. I mean, the average person loses half a day of work when they go to the dentist just for a single procedure. So, I mean, if we're going to ruin half a day, we may as well get it all done.
Boy, isn't that the truth?
It makes sense all the way around. And it's actually kind of fun. My patients come out and, I tell them, oh, yeah, this is where your tooth is being made. They come out, watch the little milling machine. It's out in the reception area. And I would say at least half of them bring their phone out and video it so they can show their friends, hey, they're making my tooth right here. It's the funniest thing.
Well, Steve, this has really been a great segment. I want you to have a terrific weekend. You know what? God, I look forward to seeing you. I don't know when my next appointment is, but I'm craving some pasta fagioli.
Yeah, I'm going I don't care if there's an appointment or not. Maybe we just need to get together.
Yeah, I heard that one. All right, my friend.
TidwellDentistry.net. Don't forget that, guys. TidwellDentistry.net.
Absolutely.
Not only will see my special for new patients, but I also have our 2-for-1 bleaching special.
Sounds
Come
good.
get it.
Sounds good, my friend. You have yourself a good one. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, Bob.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 5:08 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 92 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, he's waiting in the wings, and I've got a question for him. I know he's prepared for something else, but you know what? Let's get him in here so that we can hear about some more of Garrett on the Law, or their own David Garrett. Let's get him in here.
About to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from the bowels of the Hall of Justice, our own legal guru, David Garrett, attorney at law. Hey, David, welcome aboard. I'm good. I'm glad to have you here. I'm always glad to have you here. And so, listen, when we left last week, we were talking about you sneaking off and trying to get some magnificent fish. Did you do that?
I got a lot of bass this week.
Oh, yeah, the bass is good eating.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, there was one night you couldn't help but throw your line in, and they'd hit it right away. And then a few days later, it's like fishing. They all of a sudden stop biting, and I don't know what you could have done to coax them into it.
So is there a limit on the number of bass or those kind of fish that you can get, or is it unlimited, or what does your license cover?
No, there's a limit. I think it's 5 fish per day. I just take what I'm going to use and throw everything else back. So
yeah.
It's for those, it's 5 fish. They've got the yellowtail running right now, too, and a lot of the tuna. And those, I think, are down to 1 or 2. I'm not sure what it is. 2, I think is what it is.
Is that because there are fewer of them, or is that because they're bigger fish?
I think because of the number of them, and they've got a bluefin tuna that's goes all the way around the Pacific Ocean, and it's regulated by all the countries that are part of this treaty, and, they're always fighting between them and the commercial fishermen and whoever else has a stake in that, and they've cut that down to 2 fish per angler. To be candid, it's probably an illusory restriction because most people don't get one, so.
Yeah. You know what? And is it it's the bluefin tuna that the Japanese use for sushi, right? That's a really good tuna.
Yeah, that's one of them. Yeah, they use the yellowtail in there too. That's not technically a tuna, but they use a lot of that too. So they really like the bluefin. It's a big thing for them.
So listen, I don't know if you've been watching the news or not, and so I'm going to kind of just preempt, or not preempt. I'm going to give you some information here about this, and I understand a little bit about it. I just think that this is something that is atrocious. Now, I watched a news program the other day, and Mr. and Mrs. Phillips were on there. Her name was Sandy, and I didn't catch his name. But their teenage daughter was one of the people that were killed in the Colorado theater thing from James Holmes. And,
oh, yeah.
And they were just really up in arms, and they wanted to attend the entire trial. And as a result, what they did is they sold all their furniture, they sold most of their clothes, they sold their vehicles, they sold their jewelry and stuff like that because they're not rich people. And they bought an RV to live in, and they moved to Colorado during this whole time. It's been over a year, right, or whatever it's been. And
right.
And so they're going through this trial and this whole thing, and one of the things that they decided was that when they learned that the ammunition sellers, the people that sold as James Holmes the ammunition, unquestioned, no qualifications, no nothing, sold this guy on one purchase over 4,000 rounds of armor-piercing ammunition for this automatic weapon. No questions asked, right? So, unfortunately, their daughter was hiding behind the theater seats, totally unaware of the fact that there was no protection against armor-piercing ammunition or bullets, and was killed. They turned around and filed a suit against the ammunition companies, and unaware of what some of the ramifications are going to be, which I'm going to say in a minute, because they didn't want money. They wanted them to change their policies and qualifications on how they entered into or completed a sales process. Well, it turns out that there is all of these ammunition companies and weapons companies have paid lobbyists to have federal laws applied where they cannot be sued for anybody because somebody purchases their weapons or purchases their ammunition. And if you do, you're subject to a fine. The judge who got this suit on his desk turned around, and these people have lost their daughter. They've lost all of their belongings, and the judge fined these people $200,000 for filing the suit.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, you talk about a travesty of justice where any company can become immune to their own lack of conscience in selling unqualified stuff like this. How these people could, that's going from hurt to devastation.
Wow. Yeah, that's just insane.
Yeah, that is just the saddest thing I ever heard of. And I keep thinking about, well, wait a minute, how on earth can these people get a law like that passed? And then if people want to question that law or the validity of the law or even the constitutionality of the law, they got to start somewhere, and I would think it would be in court. And if they do that, they're going to subject themselves to this. Well, you talk about an absolute travesty and unjust system. This has got to be it.
Right. Yeah. The only thing I can think of is, well, it just fits on. It all falls on the legislature.
Yeah.
I mean, they, like you say, they paid money to somebody's election campaign and got this law passed, and there are a lot of things in the law that are kind of similar and unfair. So
let me ask you this, David. I'm guessing that is not a criminal issue, it's a civil issue. And if the judge levies a fine like that, he adjudicates it and levies a fine on these people, is that bankruptable? Can they declare a bankruptcy and have that done away with?
Yeah, they should be able to, yeah. I think the deal there is it's not even a criminal thing at all. It sounds like an attorney fee provision where the court says somehow or another they got it into the law that the prevailing party gets to recover its attorney fees and costs. So there wouldn't be anything that I could see that would stop it from being discharged.
Oh. So, that's just such a travesty of justice. I just think it's just such an abuse of our system where any company can get that kind of indemnity.
Yeah. Well, let me give you kind of a similar thing just in California tort law. Mm-hmm. You have an injured party. Let's say this person doesn't have a lot of bucks, and they get injured, and then they file a lawsuit seeking to recover their injuries. There's a provision in there where the defense can file or serve a statutory offer to compromise. And if the plaintiff doesn't accept that offer and then doesn't do as well in trial as what the offer was, the injured plaintiff can have to pay all the defense, expert fees and things of that nature. It goes both ways. Yeah. The defense could end up paying the plaintiff's expenses. It's an attempt to force settlement on or to encourage settlement on the litigants to a lawsuit. But, you can have an injured person and, the defense says, well, we're going to offer you this amount. And let's say it's not a fair offer, but or it's at the lower extreme of the range. Mm-hmm. The injured party's put in a position of saying, well, do I take this money here, even though it's really not the right amount, or run the risk of going to trial and come out losing money? Wow. So there's a lot of things like that in the law. Wow. I mean, it's all over the place. I think a lot of it happened when the volume of suits got so great that the court system decided to start imposing penalties on the litigants, whether it's the plaintiff or defense side, for not making their cases go away.
Now, and they're not seeing this as frivolous. They're just seeing this as a way of expediting the cases in court so that they can get the congestion out of there. Is that it?
Well, it expedites resolution. it applies to a meritorious claim as well as a frivolous claim. And the difficulty is that, you can have, as an attorney, a good feel for what a jury might do, but in any single case, it's tough to say with any real degree of certainty this is absolutely what a jury will do under those circumstances.
Well, now that I've taken up all of your first segment of your two-segment show, we're going to go on a commercial break, David. When we come back, we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. How's that?
Okay.
You want to lay a little teaser out there for us?
Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about smoke today.
Smoke?
Smoke.
Oh, smoke. Okay, sounds good to me. We'll be right back with Smokey Joe after these brief messages. Don't go away. Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to our own legal expert and legal guru, I should call him, David Garrett. It's David Garrett on the law. David, you've got the microphone.
Well, Bob, I think you're the one that sent me this video. It's about the Florida guy and his barbecue smoke.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you remember that one?
Yeah.
Yes, briefly what it was is there were a couple of guys at their house and just in a neighbor residential area, and they were cooking barbecue outside. And apparently they've got one of those neighbors, if you listen to the video, that just likes to complain about everything under the sun. And she calls the city, and the city sends out one of these code enforcement kind of guys. And the guy comes out and basically tells these barbecuers that it's a violation of some city rule if the barbecue smell and smoke leaves their yard. And he stands in the yard and he says, well, I can smell it here. It's okay if I can smell it here. It's in your yard. He said, and then walks out to the street. He smells it in the street and basically tells them that that's illegal, and they have to somehow or another prohibit barbecue smoke from leaving the physical confines of their property. And the exchange between these guys is pretty humorous, to be quite candid.
You talk about ridiculous laws, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, come on.
and I for sure wouldn't want that neighbor.
Oh no, well, and so I looked at that. I go, this is just ridiculous enough that it isn't going to be the first time that something like this has happened, and it let me off on a whole line of smoke-related things. So. Let me give you something in contrast. If we move a little bit west from Florida to Austin, Texas, we've got a group of neighbors suing a barbecue restaurant. The place is called Terry Black's Barbecue, and apparently what he does is he smokes all his meat on site, and these neighbors are on the street right behind where the barbecue restaurant is. But to distinguish the two, he runs his barbecue smokers 15 hours a day and, basically 7 days a week. The neighbors have filed suit against him to try and get his smoke from not going anyplace under the theory that they can't do anything to get away from the smoke. And this has prompted some discussions in the city of Austin about what laws they should or should not enact under private or public nuisance doctrines. When is too much smoke too much? And apparently in Austin they've got something like 80 barbecue restaurants, and 50 plus of them are smoking 24/7, or maybe the better word is 15/7.
Well, I'll tell you the kind of neighbor I am. There would be absolutely no complaints as long as they kept inviting me over for barbecue.
Oh, you bet. I'd say, hey, you give me free food, I'm in good shape.
Absolutely.
Well, our federal government is not to be outdone.
Is this going to be delivered with a jar of Vaseline?
Yeah, pretty close. Okay, so our Environmental Protection Agency has spent $15,000 to give some school to run a study on how you make keep barbecue smoke from harming the pit masters that are barbecuing. So now we got the EPA studying barbecue smoke.
This is nuts.
Yeah, I mean, it's just absolutely bizarre. But
my guess is, David, if you were to ban barbecue you said Austin, Texas, right? If you were to ban barbecue, as a matter of fact, anywhere in Texas, anywhere in the South, you'd probably get shot.
Oh, yeah. They'd bring back lynching in the blink of an eye.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, barbecue is a staple in the South.
Yes, yeah. You know, and the interesting thing between those first two is it kind of brings to light what you could consider a nuisance and what is not a nuisance. I mean,
yeah, how do you define what a nuisance is?
Yeah. You know, in the case of the little backyard barbecuer with, I assume, his little Weber grill there that fires it up once on the weekend or something like that. I mean, that's just so absurd. You don't even know what to say about it.
I mean, have you ever gone for a walk at night, you know, and you just kind of pass by somebody's backyard because it's backing up to the road or wherever you're walking, and you smell this magnificent barbecue going on, whether they're doing steaks or ribs or corn or whatever the heck they're doing, and you mentally say to yourself, all right, how do I get about meeting these people right now?
Yeah, exactly. You know, how somebody any governmental entity could think of trying to stop that, I just simply don't understand it. It's just insane. You know, but you go to Austin, and I like the smell of barbecue smoke.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't enjoy that, wouldn't bother me at all. I can see a certain number of people that maybe 15 hours a day, every day of the week, you know, maybe by year 2 it might be starting to become a little bit old. So,
well, you know what? Let's discuss an observation. You know, you may or may not know, I was raised on a dairy, and so we're not talking smoke here, but we are talking odor. Especially if it was raining and the cause of the odor got wet and ripe, right? In any event, my dad's dairy was there long before these houses ever showed up. And the way they sold these houses is they told the people that the dairy was moving, but the dairy was never moving. But I can tell you what actually does happen. When you are exposed to that kind of an environment for very long, and it does not take very long at all, you cease to smell that. You don't, you know, if you just don't smell it anymore. It's sort of like the worker who works in a factory and there's this noise going on. Eventually, they don't hear the noise.
Yeah, you know, like you, I spent time on a farm. Was around. We'd go spread the cow manure out on the fields to fertilize stuff.
Yeah,
and you, like you say, you just don't smell it.
Yeah. I had one person one time tell me, oh, my God, what's that smell? I said, money. You're smelling money.
Yeah.
Same
color. The only time I could remember smelling it when it was right after the rain, and then you could smell it then because it was a little more prevalent than other times. But, you know, it's for the nuisance law to kind of apply, it's what the court kind of looks at is whether the interference is substantial and whether or not it's a continuous interference as opposed to, you know, just occasional stuff.
And how about, do they ever get into, did this nuisance exist before you moved into the area? Or did it come about subsequent to you moving into the area? Does that have any bearing?
Oh, it definitely does, yeah. Like in the case of your dad's farm, somebody that moves next to a dairy farm, the court's going to assume that people knew about it when they moved there, and they're going to be a lot less sympathetic to somebody that moves to the nuisance, is kind of the way they talk about it. A couple other examples are even in metropolitan areas. Let's say you buy a house next to a baseball field. Mm-hmm. How can you argue the lights are bothering you? I mean, they were there when you moved there.
Yeah, absolutely. Or you move out, or you move out by the ocean, right? And now you're complaining about the foghorn.
Yeah, exactly. The one case we've had recently here in California that, quite frankly, disturbed me was, that sriracha, I think I'm saying it right, sauce.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all those people moved in around that factory that had been making that sauce forever, and all of a sudden started complaining to the city council about the smell, and it was making their eyes burn and whatever the heck else it was. And can't remember right this second if they filed suit or not, but I think the people that moved next to that or lived next to the plant or decided to build there, that plant should be able to continue to do what it was doing.
Absolutely. They were there first, right?
Yeah. They didn't ask them to come in, but it didn't end up working out that way.
Oh, how did it work out?
I think they imposed penalties and stuff on the plant, and ultimately, like most California businesses, they have those kind of problems. They just took off and went someplace else, and we're not going to deal with that.
And then the state of California wonders why businesses are moving out of the state, right? The state of California makes it impossible for businesses to flourish and do well because of all the interference that they get, especially if they were here first. I just don't see that at all.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't understand it. It just didn't make sense to me, and I think that moving to the nuisance doctrine I think the courts would imply it.
We ought to sue and make them remove all the courthouses and all the jails and all the prisons because we were here first.
There you go.
And I don't want to see police cars, and I don't want to see lights, and I don't want to see barbed wire, and I don't want to hear sirens. You know what? I was here first. Get the heck out of here.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you where I think this whole area of stuff is headed now.
All right.
You know how all the, well, not all, but a lot of states are slowly legalizing recreational use of marijuana.
Uh-huh.
What are we going to do about the people that smoke pot?
Well, what are we going to do about their pot that gets into my nostrils?
Yeah. And I can tell you that it's causing a furor in the homeowner association world.
Mm.
And it was some of the stuff comes out of these discussions gets pretty comical, but there was one city in Oregon that made it a $500 fine if you don't restrain your pot smoke within your particular apartment or, wherever your private place is. And so some wise guy, apparently he was in favor of smoking pot any place he wanted to, writes a letter to the editor, and he comes up with the idea, well, if we can stop the smell of pot smoke from going around, we ought to make it illegal or fine people if they flatulate late in public. So he's got this thing hits the internet and just goes nuts. So he says, let's ban recreational farting, was the way he phrased it. There are some actual very interesting things here that are going to come up, and it just doesn't apply to marijuana smoking. It applies to secondhand cigarette smoke and things of that nature.
David, we're going to have to save that for next week because we're about a half a minute beyond our time here. This just flew by. This was really a great session. I really enjoyed it. And we ought to pick up on this again next week.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it. All
right. Go out and catch a lot of bass. Get more bass than you can eat. That way I can have some.
Oh, I'll bring it over.
Sounds good. Have a great one, David. Have a wonderful weekend and stay safe.
I will. You have a great one too, Bob.
All righty. Now, don't go away. When we get back, I'm going to deal with the birthdays for today, the secret daily teaching for your life, the Harvard business tip of the day, and interesting but useless facts. That's right after we come back. Don't go away. If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this. The Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 5:41 p.m. Pacific time. It is currently 92 degrees in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. That's going all the way down to 65 degrees. I can't wait for that to happen. But you know what? Today is July the 31st. And what makes it special? Well, it's somebody's birthday. And you know what? This person was born in 1965, author best known as the creator of Harry Potter fantasy series, the idea for which was conceived whilst on a train trip from Manchester to London in 1990, sold more than 400 million copies. Happy birthday, J.K. Rowling. And this person born today, Dean Cain. You know who Dean Cain was? Yeah, he was Superman. Happy birthday, Dean. And you know what? Today in history, on July the 31st, 1790, the very first U.S. patent is issued to inventor Samuel Hopkins for a potash process. And in 1971, Apollo 15 astronauts became the first to ride in a lunar rover. And in 1981, 42-day strike of Major League Baseball ends in the United States. And then finally, 2006, Fidel Castro hands over power temporarily, which is now permanently, to his brother Raul Castro. And now, of course, looks like we're reinstituting diplomatic relations with Cuba. About time after 50 years of it not getting anywhere. Well, our quote for today comes from Avenius. Avenius says, The crowd gives the leader new strength. That's an absolute fact, by the way. You just play to the crowd, and the crowd energizes you. Well, it's time for our secret daily teachings for your life, and this is all about having a positive mental attitude, and I'm telling you, it really does control your life. There's nothing like a positive mental attitude to control your life and the life of all those people around you. Today's teaching is when you know that everything comes from the universe and that the universe is the infinite supplier of all things through the law of attraction, then you will be very careful to watch your thoughts when you are dealing with money. Your thoughts about money are either attracting money to you or keeping money away from you. This is the secret to all the wealth in the world, and it is the singular reason for all the lack in the world. You might want to ask Donald Trump what he thinks about that. It'd be interesting to hear that question or answer. Well, time for the Harvard Business Tip of the Day. And the management tip today is make one-on-one meetings more effective. One-on-one meetings with your direct reports often feel more stressful and disorganized than they need to be. A few simple steps can make them more productive and collaborative. First off, pay attention. Turn off your phone and email and focus on the person in front of you. Not doing this will make your employee feel disrespected. And form an authentic connection. Show your employee that you care about her or him while being their well-being. And ask about family or weekend plans or share an anecdote from your own weekend. Put people at ease. Get them comfortable. And create positivity. Compliment the employee on something that he or she did well and explain why you value that contribution. Focus on his or her strengths. Ask for objectives. What does the employee want to get out of this meeting? Ask her or him to articulate it, and that'll lead to a more productive conversation, guaranteed. And then finally, keep it light. Don't be afraid to smile or laugh. Most of us take work far too seriously. You know what? It's a career. It's a means to an end. That's what you got to remember. Now, time for our interesting but useless facts for today. And right off the top, did you know that the starfish is one of the only animals who can turn its stomach inside out? They also don't have brains. I've told you that before, but the stomach part I didn't know before. Did you know that in Florida, penalty for horse theft is death by hanging, and that law is still on the books? How about this? You know, the average per capita consumption of soap in all of its uses in the United States is about 40 pounds per year. Now, per capita, that means per person, 40 pounds per year. Give that a thought. Did you know, let's see here. Did you know that 166,875,000,000 pieces of mail are delivered each year in the United States? Wow. That's a lot of work. You know, and it takes a long time when you consider the energy of the post office. Did you know that St. Bernard dogs do not carry kegs of brandy and never have? What a disappointment that is. I'm going to stay away from the snow from now on. How about this? Did you know that although the Pony Express was one of the most famous chapters in U.S. history, it only lasted for 1 year, from 1860 to 1861? I find that kind of interesting. Did you know that ducks will only lay eggs early in the morning? They're too busy in the afternoon to do that kind of stuff. And, you know, the toothbrush was invented in 1498 in China. Go figure. You know what? In Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, pigs less than 32 inches in length may be kept as pets, provided there are no more than 2 in the house. You know, yeah, leave it to somebody in Oklahoma. Did you know that there are only 18 countries richer than Bill Gates? Now, that I find really interesting. Now, let me close it with this. You know, a poem written to celebrate a wedding is called a epithelium. Epithelium. Wow. Who the heck cares? I'm going to leave it go with that. Now, don't go away. When we come back, I'm going to answer your emails. First one comes from Stephen Wortman from Gloucester Point, Virginia, asking about loss carry forwards. I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Do not go away. Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And you know what? At 5:52 p.m. Pacific time, it is currently 92 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what? It's coming down to the wire. Time for our emails. Again, I'm going to remind you, like I always do, this is an entertainment section of the show, and we try to answer your questions as comprehensively as possible. But you know what? The information sometimes can be a little sketchy, and our answers are only as good as the information that we have. So we always encourage you to talk to a licensed professional before you go out and do anything. And you know what? They're going to save you more money than they actually cost you. And the truth is that they'll give you peace of mind, let you sleep at night, because one of the conditions of their licensing is that they have errors and omissions insurance, which means if they make a mistake, they pay the piper, not you. That lets you sleep at night. No phone calls, no registered mail, no taps on the shoulder, and no shiny bracelets on your hands. So keep that in mind. Now, today, my first email comes from Stephen Wortman from Gloucester Point, Virginia, asking about loss carryforwards, and writes, two spouses have separately owned investments, but file joint returns. One spouse incurs a very large loss, creating a large capital loss carry forward. Before it's used up on their joint returns, that spouse dies. Can the surviving spouse continue to use the loss carry forward in later years? Well, Stephen, unfortunately, the answer to your question is no, you can't. The IRS position is that only the taxpayer who sustains a loss is entitled to take the deduction. So, when an individual incurs a big loss before marriage or on separately owned investments during marriage, he or she can deduct a resulting loss carry forward on joint returns during marriage. But when that spouse dies, that carry forward dies too. The surviving spouse cannot continue to use it on future returns filed as a separate taxpayer. Now, you know what? You're going to want to go see the IRS regulations on this, and you're not going to be able to figure them out. So you know what? Do like I said earlier. Talk to a licensed professional. That's going to be the best bet for you. My next email comes from Mason Zafra from Sterling Heights, Michigan, asking about depreciation recapture, and writes, I intend to convert a building that I own to business use and then sell. If I take depreciation deductions for it, I'll have them taxed back to me when I sell the building, and I might be in a higher tax bracket then. Can I forego the depreciation deductions? Well, Mason, your tax bracket won't matter at all here. When you sell a property for gain, previously deducted depreciation is taxed back, but at a maximum of 25%. Now, the problem with not deducting depreciation is that the tax code says gain on a property sale is computed counting depreciation allowed or allowable. So even if you don't take the deductions, gain is going to be computed just as though you did. You're going to wind up having to pay on that gain anyway. So take note, though, for property acquired after 1980 and before 1987, special rules apply. So go to IRS Publication 534. That's depreciating property placed in service before 1987. And again, talk to that licensed professional. You'll really be glad that you did. Next email comes from James Lautenslager from San Jose, California, asking about cash from overseas, and writes, my parents live in a foreign country and want to make a large gift to me to help me get started here in the United States. Must our international payments of more than $10,000 be reported and taxed? Well, here's the deal, James. Gifts are not subject to income tax, and U.S. gift tax does not apply to gifts made by foreigners, so any gift that you receive is going to be tax-free. Now, U.S. persons who receive more than $100,000 in a tax year from foreign nationals must report the fact on an IRS Form 3520. That's the annual return to report transactions with foreign trusts and receipt of certain foreign gifts. But this doesn't make the gift taxable. Keep in mind, by the way, that the recipient of a gift never owes the tax. It's the giver of the gift. In this particular case, they're not a United States citizen, they don't reside in the United States, and they're not subject to United States tax laws. So you get the free gift, and they don't have to pay the tax. Next email comes from Sonny Scarlett from Boulder, Colorado, asking about stock dividends, and says, I invest through dividend reinvestment programs. They call those DRIPs, by the way. Is it also possible to do so in my IRA? Well, you know, DRIPs are managed by corporate issuers of stock shares, so IRAs are administered by banks, brokers, mutual funds, and other such IRA trustees. They don't permit investments in issuer-sponsored DRIPs. However, A growing number of corporate DRIPs now have a DRIP IRA option, including those of Walmart, Ford, Verizon, McDonald's, Sears, ExxonMobil. Each such program holds only its own company stock, so to have a diversified portfolio, you have to invest in several different programs. So you want to keep that in mind as you're doing these things. And hopefully you'll do what we said at the beginning and what I'm going to say right now. Always see a licensed professional. Now, I want to thank you for listening to Robert Cardoza Live at the intersection of business and politics. Robert Cardoza Live broadcasts on Spreaker Radio, MyCast Live Radio, and countless terrestrial stations worldwide every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. I also broadcast on Roar 1776 Radio and on Live 365 Radio every Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Please, that's Pacific Time, by the way. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com and email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com, where I get all the emails on my show. On my next show, my expert contributor is John Hanson, that little old wine drinker. He'll be talking about food and wine. And my special guest, John Kurth, the Wizard of Words, talking business success through scripting. I encourage you to tell all of your friends about my show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network. That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then, when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza. I hope you enjoyed today's show as much as I enjoyed producing it for you. Don't forget to join me again on Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific Time for another installment of Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. In the meantime, stay safe, stay happy, be good, have a great weekend, and good night, everybody.